republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We will be seated. And as we always do, I request from everyone a moment of silence for our recently departed residents and friends, neighbors, as well as those suffering all around the world. A moment of silence, please. Thank you. All right, roll call, please.
Mike Messina,
Present.
Ed Whitman,
Present.
Mary Adler,
Absence excused.
Matthew Peltona, Annette Bailey.
Absence excused. Okay, we will now record the approval of the minutes from our last open board meeting dated 8/21. May I have a motion to approve the minutes, please?
I second.
Okay, all board members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Going to. All those opposed, I guess none. The motion for the approval of the minutes is now passed. Thank you. Okay, so just a definition for you. Motions. You know, we use that word a lot. Motions, board motions are the formal way of documenting important transactions done by the board, as well as a way to formally document expenditures over an estimated threshold amount. Today we have no motions. All right, we will now move on to the president's report. This is a kind of a repeat, but a little update from our government committee. Last meeting we had 2 reminders, and again we have 2 reminders. The first is in regard to our recently received tax bill to the Toms River residents that included a 12.9 annual increase in the school tax. So the general tax did not go up, but the school tax went up 12.9%. This is the result of reduced state funding triggering a $22.2 million shortfall in the 2025 and 2026 school board budget. The distribution of this school tax adjustment is scheduled to begin now, the middle of September. Although the exact amount, we won't really know that, but I'm going to say, as we said last time, it was estimated that we will all be receiving a bill somewhere between $300 and $500. It's coming, I mentioned it last time. And somebody, don't take this to church, okay? But somebody said they received a bill for $400. So it was within that threshold. So if you see a bill coming, it's related to the school tax. Okay. The second item they wanted me to remember was, wanted me to remind you of was in regard to the Anchor program. We all received the new blue book. It's a PAS1 form, the blue book, that's how we refer to it. And again, a reminder that everyone should be filling out the blue book before the deadline of October 31st. So we will again mention that in October, but if you have that blue book lying around, you should be filling it out. And if you need help filling it out, there is a number, I believe it goes into the township, where they'll assist you in filling that out. And that will make you eligible for any refund that you are due. The PAS is sort of going to take away from what was tax freeze and Anchor. So the whole program is changing. So it's imperative that you fill that out. Okay. Okay. The outdoor pool was closed, and I believe they were putting the cover on today, as a matter of fact. And that means that it was closed last Sunday. The entire pool deck is now off limits. Our lifeguard is now moved inside with the exact same hours that we had before. The good news is that family swim time has moved to the indoor pool. And as a final note, this is nothing new, Buddy Swim is in effect anytime the lifeguards are not on duty. Again, buddy swim and the use of the hot tub included, you must have a buddy with you. No one should be in there alone, God forbid that. Okay. In terms of the gym, there's nothing new to report at this time. In terms of the beautification project, which has been mentioned and essentially done, the gazebo project has been completed, and several people have been asking, why is the wood not white? It's pressure treated wood, and it needs to dry out a minimum of 6, some people say a year, 6 months to a year before you paint it. So I appreciate everyone looking out for not having the white fence done. And if going up the hill, as we call it, on the left-hand side, there was a section of the fence that was replaced last year and due to be stained brown in the near future, because it's a year since that went up and was repaired. Okay, so where do we go? So originally, we had a lawsuit then, and the lawsuit was scheduled for a court hearing in the month of September. And the lawyer was going to talk at this meeting because it was scheduled earlier, but that was moved. And it was moved to October. I think it's October 16th. Last week, on Thursday, we received notice from the court, from the judge, saying that a mandatory mediation needed to happen, and in fact happened today. So I'm just giving you an update, but I'm going to read from script from our attorneys. The court adjourned the pending motion to October 16th. We rescheduled the attorney's attendance to our October meeting, which I will go into detail, to be able to give you a substantive update on the lawsuit and answer your questions. The court also scheduled an in-person settlement conference earlier today. Ed Whitman and I attended this conference with the attorneys. Settlement discussions were unsuccessful. Please hold all questions on this matter for the attorneys. End of statement. So what that means is next month, the Thursday, I believe, was the 16th. And the meeting originally was moved from the 16th to the 15th because there was a CAI conference on the Thursday and it was a daytime meeting. So we moved it from the 16th to the 15th, and now it looks like, unless the court, changes their mind on something else, I don't know, but it looks like next month's OBM meeting will be held on the October 23rd, and it's still a daytime, because we want the lawyer to be able to speak to everyone about exactly where we stand, so there's no misunderstanding in any way. Okay, so I'm gonna report out now so I can sit down, but Annette's not here, and we normally report on where we stand with the bylaws committee, which is making some fantastic progress thanks to the dedicated people. We're nearly getting that taken care of. And Steve Agresta and Mark are, been doing a great job. The list is on that. We hope, and we think we have it in hand, that we will go for a vote to everyone on the adjusted bylaws before the end of the year. And that means that there'll be a town hall meeting held. First, I think we're going to send out some information. And then a week or two later, we're going to have a town hall meeting where people can ask questions about what you will be voting on after that. And correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, I think we gave 3 weeks to do the vote.
Yes.
And it's the beginning of November is the tentative target right now. There's a lot of work that has to be done in order to make that happen, including we have to mail some out, we're going to do electronic links. The document is 100 pages long.
About
60 pages long. So we're going to put links that people can actually read through and see exactly what we're proposing to change the bylaws. There'll be a little summary, And there's going to be, I think we've narrowed it down, 12?
Yeah.
12 items that everyone will be able to vote on, saying, like, I'm going to use an example. There's 40 clerical errors that things were spelled wrong. That surprised you? The document was originally 90 pages. So we're going to put a line in there to fix all the clerical errors. Please vote yes.
Not every clerk is one line.
Not every clerical error is one line. So we tried to lump them because you can't vote on 100 things, 145, I think.
145.
145. So there's another one where we're taking out the name of the sponsor, which was Cokes. Cokes hasn't been here for 28 years. So one fell swoop, any reference to Cokes is being taken out. So we're trying to make it, and it's narrowed down to 12 things that each and every one of you will be able to vote on. You'll have all the information, you'll be able to read it all so that you can vote. Now, quorum is 25%. So what we're going to ask is, and that sounds like a low number, and it is, but the quorum according to the bylaws is that we need 25% of everyone to vote. So 25% of 926 is what we need. Generally speaking, we've not had a problem with that, especially in the last elections. And then when we redid the governing documents, I think we did 60%, so it shouldn't be a problem. But there's more to come there. What we're trying to do is just round it out before the end of the year to take care of the bylaws. So we did the governing documents, then we did the bylaws, and they agree with each other now. And hopefully there'll be less clerical errors. Okay, let's see if I have anything else. Sorry? Oh, yeah, okay, and that's not here. So, I know, I'm joking. So, no one ever speeds in this development. Okay, we have a new program that we actually went around and kind of counted every sign and saw where they were. And you know, you drive around and you're kind of oblivious at times, like, oh, there's a sign, but whatever. But you'll be surprised how many areas didn't have any signs at all. There's a sign on this side of the road facing that way, but there's no sign on this side facing this way. So we're doing an evaluation, and we're going to be adding a number. I'm going to say 8 signs. And then we're also, in case you didn't notice, and if you didn't notice, that's a bad thing. We borrowed from the township the speed limit sign that blinks at you. And we put it here, and then we moved it, and we put it here as sort of a reminder. We may be looking into the purchase of a couple of those signs as well, because no one should be speeding in the development. You're walking your dog across the street and you're almost run over. Okay, it shouldn't happen. You know, and it's not necessarily the residents. Let's be honest. It's UPS, it's Amazon, it's what is it called? Uber. It's you know, whenever you order your food, they come. It's not always the residents, but you know, we need to have more awareness about not speeding in the development. So we're getting, every pole costs $72 and every sign costs this, and we're trying to figure out, and maybe we'll do half this year and half next year, but we're trying to bring awareness about not speeding to everyone's attention. It's just not simple, right? Okay. Okay. That being said, we will now move on to the Vice President's report now.
Good evening, and thank you for coming. I have a couple of things to report from the Grounds Committee, particularly. The asphalt walkways that we walk around throughout the development have had a number of cracks and lifts in them where the roots raise the sidewalk. So last week, Annette and Mike and I drove around and we marked out with pink paint, you probably noticed it, all those trip hazards. We can't mark out every crack. There are hundreds of cracks in the asphalt, but pay particular attention to where there's a trip hazard. So those have all been marked and will be addressed as part of the paving contract that we're negotiating for the final phase of the road repairs. So we hope to get that done at a very modest price as part and parcel of the contract with the paving. Also, you'll probably notice that the cracks in the concrete sidewalks in front of your homes, they're underway and being repaired. They come up and they crack them up and then they put new concrete down. So that's being addressed as well. So we're very conscious about safety on the walkways, and of course that will be part of our report to our insurance company, that we are proactive in this regard to try to keep our insurance rates as low as possible. Another item from the grounds committee is we've removed about 14 trees that were deemed to be dangerous this year, and we will continue over the next 6 weeks. In the next 6 weeks, that program will conclude for the year. Another item is it's getting dark earlier, as you've noticed. So be conscious of the street lights in your neighborhood. And if there are any street lights that are out, please get the number on each pole. There's a number. Get the number and then report that location to the office so they can turn it into New Jersey Power and Light, or whoever it is that handles that utility. So please pay attention to the lighting. As it gets dark, you begin to notice those things. And lastly, I don't know whether Mike mentioned this in connection with speeding. Annette Bailey has gotten the township to supply us with one of those blinking lights. You know, your speed is such and such, and you're 30 miles over the limit, you know. So that speeding, that blinking light it will be moved around to different parts of the community over the next couple of days. I think we have it for a week, and we're trying to get it renewed. Or we're also looking into perhaps buying one or two of those things that we can move about to try to remind people to keep their speed down to 25 or below. Speeding is a constant hazard to all of us, so be aware of that. And that's my report.
Thanks, Ed. We'll now move on to the Secretary Quarters on that.
Hi, good evening. Next Friday is bulk pickup for everybody, so we'd like everybody to have their things out Thursday evening. And if you need any help whatsoever with anything heavier, helping hands, we'll be glad to call them up, and they'll be glad to come and give you a hand bringing things to the curbside. Just read what you're allowed to have and what you're not allowed to have, because they don't take a lot of things, especially auto parts. Okay?
All right, we'll now move on to the manager's report by Ray. I'm sorry, but you're going to do the treasurer's report too. All right, he's going to start with the treasurer's report, and he'll just keep talking.
Okay, as usual. Good evening, everyone. Tonight's open board meeting, the treasury report is dated September 18th, 2025, and submitted by our Finance and Audit Committee. The income statement for our operating fund for the 8 months ending August 31st, our net income of $8,113 was $2,026 worse than our budget of $10,139. The principal factors that contributed to the unfavorable variance were income was $52,651 better, $1,735. The budget was $1,735,913 budget versus $1,788,564 actual. The better income performance was due to the increased income from the closing of home resales of $46,200, which was $8,400 better than budget, 39 versus 33. This was combined with the final carryover deficit from last year of $3,726, which was $29,874 better than the budgeted carryover deficit of $33,600. Late fee, fines, interest, and miscellaneous income accounted for the remainder of the favorable variance. The expenses were $54,678 worse. We had a budget of $1,725,773 budget versus $1,780,451 actual. Expenses were over budget for the 5-month period by $54,678 due to two principal factors. Our property management and professional fees were $57,953 over budget due to legal defense funds of $48,503 and higher management office expenses of $15,109. Additionally, the landscaping and ground maintenance costs were $34,502 over budget due to higher landscape contractor expenses. These increases were partially offset by lower snow removal costs of $18,981 and lower pool management costs of $8,676. The consolidated balance sheet as of August 31st, 2025, our cash and invested funds totaled approximately $3.3 million, most of which was a replacement fund, which had a balance of approximately $2.4 million. The funds were held and invested in CDs insured by the FDIC, in U.S. Treasury notes, and money market funds, and some funds were held in cash in bank. And that is the financial report for September. Going into the management report, a couple items here. As Ed mentioned, the concrete project is ending. We do have some locations that need to be come back and reworked. The inspections are not yet finalized, so I still call this project, in effect, still in progress. We'll be making the inspections in the next couple of days and finalize that out. Again, we looked primarily for trip hazards or damage. Insurance companies consider anything over a 5/8 of an inch as a trip hazard. So we have the tree roots, the street trees and everything else we try to take care of. We had this year approximately 4,600 square feet of hazards that needed to be taken care of. And this is an annual project that we budget for. As also mentioned, we had proposals coming in for the roadway crack fill program, where we had the seams in the roads itself, and we also had crack filling on the asphalt walkways. The board members did go out and identify where there were some damages and trip hazards on these walkways. I took the contractors out. We found 18 locations that were marked. We had them measured out. We're waiting for the costs involved with that, and we will combine that with the crack fill project to continue. We can do that up till the end of the year. So that's in progress. We're just waiting on the final price. Irrigation repairs, we're just closing up the irrigation season next month. This year was a little bit high on irrigation repairs, more than anticipated, aside from our weather track system installations. We do have to credit the homeowners with their concern sheets, notifications, the inspections we're doing. We found a lot of long-standing problems with the irrigation system that hopefully will be cleaned up by the end of the year. We also had bids for the 2 riprap channels, the stone channels in the detention basin at Clear Lake and Torrington that had been requested to be repaired this year. We're just waiting for the final numbers on that. For 2026 projects, we have the Vicaria Avenue area asphalt replacement project. This is phase 5. This was tentatively scheduled to come in about 1.2 to 1.4 million in expenses. Usually that all depends on asphalt prices, and so far they're holding steady. We'll just have to see what happens when it comes down to next summer. But that was pushed off this year to gain some more interest on the reserve fund so we can handle this project next summer. We are in the final planning phase for the retaining wall repair. We do have the one retaining wall on Crestfield and Vicari. We did have Kipcon Engineering come out and do a study on that wall, as well as the other walls right now. There are 5 walls that are over 3 feet in height. This one had a partial lean to it, and it is 330 feet long. We wanted to get the first one done, taken care of. This will be replacing the wooden ties to stone block or some other long-standing material. The KIPCON who did the investigation is writing up the specifications for the repairs. That'll go up to several contracting companies, and then we'll get between finance and the board, review the bid recommendations to see who will be handling this. Ideally, this should be done sometime in the winter, where the weather is colder, and pulling down that wall will keep the ground solid. Another part of this project is that on a lot of these walls, there's landscaping along the bottom of the wall and along the top. The association did take responsibility for the walls. The plantings were the responsibilities of the resident. However, with this project and with the verification from the attorney, the vegetation, trees, shrubs, whatever's in the area will be removed at the time of the project, but does not have to be replaced by the association. We'll have a town hall meeting to explain all this once we get more of the facts together. This is new territory for everybody, so we want to make sure that the community knows what's going on once it's scheduled to start. Landscaping. We have we put out an announcement. This is now going towards the end of the season. Residents right now are starting to seed and aerate their lawns. We get a lot of calls regarding what are the final treatments that the landscaper will be putting down. There is a pre-emergent to come down towards the end of October. Once the seeding aeration project should have been ended, this pre-emergent that is being applied is actually favorable to the germination of the new seed. We don't anticipate any problems. And again, these treatments are weather permitting. We'll have to see what October looks like. Also, the board, in response to the soil study that was done back in August, has added 2 extra applications to enhance the landscape. One will be the soil nutrient ocean grow, which will be applied in the last week of October. This is a nutritional supplement long needed for the ground out here in Ocean County. And then an additional pre-emergent will be applied after Thanksgiving, following one of the leaf cleanups, and that will assist in the weed control for the following spring. The results of these treatments do take time, but were recommended not only by the landscaper, but by the soil analysis test we had done in August. They will not be cutting lawns next week of September 22nd. However, they will be applying a fall fertilizer separate from the pre-emergent in October on September 23, 24, and 25. The MDS sheets were attached to the email notification and will be available at the office if anybody wants a copy. As far as informational, we no longer have to send in any trash expenses to the township for municipal reimbursement. That phase of municipal reimbursements is ended, but we did put in our first 6-month biannual street lighting reimbursement, and we're waiting for notification on that. Park violations have been steady this year. The board and our committee came in the start of 2025, concentrating on the beautification of the community, the homes, and the office has been busy getting out there with the ARC recommendations for notifications, and we always like to send out the courtesy notification first before any enforcement. But it's been pretty busy this year. There's a few stragglers there, but we hope to get everything in line very soon. And again, residents are reminded to always use concern sheets for any requests or reports. Again, this is an accurate tracking system we're using for our database. Phone calls, anonymous complaints, or requests are really not that honored. We'd rather have some tracking sheet there to be able to use. And that is the last of my report.
Okay, thank you, Ray. Okay, may I now have a motion to complete the business portion of this meeting from a board member? May I have a second? All those opposed, the only two of us here, it's gonna work, right? The ayes have it, and the business portion of the meeting is now closed.